Good morning, everyone. The first nor'easter of the season is approaching, and it is poised to bring a significant amount of snow. A low-pressure system is forecast to strengthen rapidly as it moves up the east coast, and this storm has the potential to deliver a widespread snow event from Ohio all the way to Maine. We are anticipating a broad area of 4 to 8 inches of snow, but the primary concern is a narrow corridor that could receive as much as 1 foot of snow if the storm follows the right path. Cities such as Albany, Worcester, and Boston are certainly in the running for some of the heaviest snowfall, depending on where the most intense bands of snow establish themselves. In addition, this winter storm could bring an element that the previous one did not. That includes the risk of ice accumulation across parts of Oklahoma, Arkansas, and even into the Ohio Valley, and this storm is expected to have many of the classic impacts of a nor'easter. We anticipate heavy wind-driven snow, which will cause travel conditions to deteriorate quickly, along with the potential for coastal flooding and beach erosion near the shoreline. Snowfall rates could exceed 3 inches per hour at times, which would create near whiteout visibility and make travel dangerous, if not entirely impossible. Therefore, in this forecast, we will carefully review the details. We are going to explain precisely what you need to know about this upcoming nor'easter and how it might affect your plans for the beginning of the work week. And before we discuss the nor'easter, I did want to mention that yesterday's winter storm was truly historic across the Midwest. Many areas like Des Moines and back over in St. Louis experienced significant weather. St. Louis ended up receiving some of its highest snowfall amounts for a single day that we have ever recorded in the month of November. Over in Des Moines, they had right around 1 foot of snow, which ranks as one of the top 5 snowiest days in their November history. And back in St. Louis, the storm certainly overperformed, with many areas reporting around 8 inches of snowfall. So far, the highest snowfall total that has been reported was a little over 15 inches of snow near Fort Dodge. So, to say the least, yes, there is a possibility here for a winter storm. But generally speaking, this is going to be a very quick-moving nor'easter, and it does not appear to be nearly as major as what many models were showing a couple of days ago. If anything dramatic changes in the next 24 hours, we will have another update for you. We do have some snow still falling across parts of Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and New York. Later this morning, we will continue to monitor for some lake-effect snow back in far western and northern Michigan. However, that activity is expected to be very concentrated and localized. As a result, we will likely not see much more snowfall today across most of Michigan. By this afternoon and into the evening, some snow will fall across far northern New England, but generally speaking, no more than 3 to 6 inches of snow is currently in the forecast for that area. As we head into tonight and tomorrow, you might think things will quiet down, but that is not the case because we have 2 different areas of energy that are set to combine tomorrow. We will have some snow that will be coming right over the Rockies. So that is one area of moisture, and then we will have another area of moisture coming up from the Gulf of Mexico. These 2 systems are going to merge into one system late on Monday. Before late Monday arrives, however, we will see some light snowfall throughout the morning across parts of Kansas, Missouri, Iowa, and Nebraska. A little bit of freezing rain is possible in far northeastern Oklahoma, southeastern Kansas, and southwestern Missouri, which is certainly a concern because any freezing rain or sleet that falls could lead to some ice accumulation. Please keep in mind it does not take a large amount of freezing rain for ice to form on the ground. It really only takes a few drops for ice to accumulate when surface temperatures are this cold, which is why this situation is so concerning, especially since some of these areas may not have treated their roadways. So please bear that in mind. On Monday during the afternoon, we will continue to see some light snowfall across Illinois and back through Kansas. A little bit of freezing rain is possible in southern and central Missouri and also across northwestern Arkansas. So there could be some ice accumulation in those locations. Late Monday, we are going to start to see these 2 areas of energy essentially become one, and we will have a much larger winter storm forming as we go into Monday night. The snow should become a bit more widespread across areas in the Ohio Valley. I expect snow to fill in across Ohio, Indiana, and also into northern Kentucky. Freezing rain will be possible anywhere from northeast Arkansas back into western Kentucky, and then just a great deal of rain across the southeast, perhaps, with a couple of isolated severe storms. As we go into the overnight hours, that snow is going to become much more widespread, and we are going to have heavy snowfall across Kentucky, Indiana, and Ohio, as well as Pennsylvania and New York. However, it is important to note that this will be a very fast-moving storm. This is a very quick-moving winter storm event. Therefore, overall, many of these areas are not actually going to accumulate that much snowfall. The winter storm that we experienced yesterday was much slower than this one, and it was also more expansive. This particular storm will be moving very quickly from west to east. For that reason, most areas are only going to experience about 3 to 6 hours of snowfall. By Tuesday morning, that heavy snow is going to be covering the northeast across New York and most of New England. In fact, the only areas in New England that I believe will not see snowfall are southern Connecticut, southern Rhode Island, and Cape Cod. There will be a possibility for ice accumulation in areas like Maryland and West Virginia, and perhaps even in very far northeastern Tennessee at the higher elevations. By Tuesday at lunchtime, heavy snow will be ongoing across most of New England, New York, Pennsylvania, and far northern New Jersey. And then by Tuesday evening, most of the snow will be winding down. The only snow remaining will be around and just north of Boston. Back through Maine with perhaps a little bit left over in Connecticut. And there could be a little light snow as we go into Tuesday night across the northern plains and the upper Midwest, but overall accumulations there will be quite minimal. Now let's discuss the potential for snow and ice accumulation. I want to begin with our snowfall accumulation forecast. This is the latest forecast from the National Weather Service. You will notice that generally speaking, we are not expecting a widespread event of more than 1 foot of snow anywhere in the Ohio Valley. Again, this is projected to be a very quick-moving system. It is also going to be relatively weak as it moves through the Ohio Valley. However, I do think a reasonable 1 to 3 or 2 to 4 inches for most of Ohio and Indiana is possible. And Pennsylvania will be on the table. There could be some localized areas with higher amounts than this. But across the board, the snowfall accumulation in these areas is not going to be that significant. I honestly believe this forecast could be a slight overestimate. We will have to wait and see tonight what the models are truly indicating. But I do think areas like Kansas City back through central Illinois have a possibility of a coating to 2 inches, and perhaps a localized spot of up to 4 inches of snow cannot be ruled out. But overall, it should be quite minimal. The ice is one of the bigger concerns, and this is also a very big question mark right now. This map from the North American Mesoscale 3-kilometer model shows a much larger ice event happening across Arkansas all the way through Kentucky, Ohio, West Virginia, and Pennsylvania. A scenario like this would almost undoubtedly impact school plans for many communities on Tuesday, but it is not yet certain that we will see ice this widespread. The National Weather Service forecast is much more localized, showing it mostly in Arkansas and also in eastern Kentucky and West Virginia, especially over in the Appalachian Mountains, where we could even have a small cold air damming event occur. But back over in Arkansas, that is where there is a better chance for a glazing of ice, maybe up to 1/10 of an inch of ice, is on the table. So please, if you are in Arkansas, be sure that you are staying extra weather aware on Monday because there might not be treated roads in many areas, especially the side roads, which means things could get very slick very quickly. I also believe that this is probably not going to be as widespread as this model shows. I think if we do see ice accumulation, it will probably be more concentrated up here in southern Missouri and northern Arkansas. We will have another video update most likely either tonight or tomorrow to talk more about this. So please make sure you are subscribed to the channel and click the bell icon so you are notified with that latest update. Now the Northeast is a different story entirely. I do think we are going to see a widespread 3 to 6 inches of snow for most of Pennsylvania, New York, and New England. There will likely be some localized areas closer to 8 to 10 inches of snow, especially where those heavier bands of snow align, particularly in southern New Hampshire, southern Maine, and also central and western Massachusetts. This is also the National Weather Service forecast. It is about the same as the previous model I showed you, but it does indicate some more localized areas that are actually higher, more like 8 to 9 inches of snow back over northeast Pennsylvania and southeast New York. So to say the least, yes, there is a possibility here for a winter storm, but generally speaking, this is going to be a very quick-moving nor'easter, and it does not look to be nearly as major as what many models were showing a couple of days ago. If anything dramatic changes in the next 24 hours, we will have another update for you. So, please make sure you are subscribed to the channel, and for this upcoming winter weather event on Monday into Tuesday, we are expecting at least minor travel impacts anywhere from Kansas all the way back into Pennsylvania and the Northeast. If you are in the orange shaded area, that is where moderate travel impacts are possible, which will be mainly across northeastern Pennsylvania. There are also a couple of areas like Little Rock and back towards Fort Smith that could have moderate travel impacts on Monday as well. That would be because of potential ice accumulation. So please stay tuned. We are going to have updates on our social media pages such as Facebook and Twitter at MaxVelocityWX. You can find the links to our social media pages in the description below. Now, looking beyond this upcoming winter storm, we are going to have a few more problems on our hands during the middle and end of the week. This winter weather event will move out late Tuesday into Wednesday. One other thing I do want to point out is that this nor'easter is going to bring fairly strong winds to the northeast. So just a heads up, wind gusts around 30 to 45 miles per hour are going to be possible on Monday and Tuesday. On Wednesday and Thursday, high pressure will build along the east coast. We will have a little bit of snow across areas in the Rockies and also the upper Midwest. However, accumulation is not really expected from this, at least anything significant. I mean, we could see an inch or two, but that is nothing as substantial as what we have seen recently, over what we have seen in the past few days. For Wednesday and into Thursday, some snow is possible across the Northeast, though it is not expected to be a major event. It should be mostly light snow. Late Thursday and into Friday, we could see the redevelopment of some severe storms along the Gulf Coast. At a minimum, flooding rainfall could become a concern there on Thursday and Friday, so please be mindful of that. Then, as we approach Friday, and into Saturday and Sunday, there is a very slight possibility at this time that winter weather could come into play across the mid-Atlantic. We have a great deal of cold air moving into the United States right now. For many of you waking up this morning, it is very cold, and that chill is unfortunately going to continue. So one thing we will have to monitor closely is just how cold it is going to be over the next several days. That cold air could lead to a more southerly winter weather event later in the week, since we have a lot of moisture available from the Gulf. So something is certainly a possibility for later this week, but I do not believe it will be anything like what the GFS computer model is showing. Then by next weekend and into the early part of the following week, the forecast becomes more uncertain. The GFS model is showing another potential nor'easter on Sunday and Monday. If that were to happen, we would have to wait and see, as it is simply too early to say with confidence what will occur there. I do think one thing is for certain, however. we are going to continue to see a very active weather pattern for the next couple of weeks. Even though a major winter storm is not in the forecast beyond this one, on Tuesday I do believe we are going to see at least 2 more before Christmas. After the holiday, things will certainly be active in January and February, which is a very typical pattern for that time of year, so please make sure to subscribe to the channel for the latest information on all the dynamic winter weather that is on the way. Now, our temperatures over the next 7 to 10 days are going to be quite cool for a large portion of the United States. Right now, we have a significant area of cold air that is pushing down toward our Gulf Coast states. It will be very cold across the Central Plains, the Midwest, the Ohio Valley, and the Northeast through Monday and Tuesday. By Wednesday and Thursday, that wave of cold air will move across New England. And then, by Wednesday and Thursday, another push of cold air is likely. This one will be much more impactful for the Midwest, the Great Lakes, and the Northeast on Thursday. So conditions are going to remain very cold across the Northeast. And then by next weekend, yet another one is coming to the Northern Plains, the Midwest, and the Ohio Valley. We are likely going to see more cold air during the second week of December. This will create a persistent cycle of cold air impacting the United States this month. This is certainly one of the more active starts to winter that we have had in several years, both in terms of snow and cold air. The Climate Prediction Center is in complete agreement that we are going to continue to see below average temperatures across the Midwest, the Northeast, and the Mid-Atlantic at least through the end of the first week of December, and above average temperatures are more likely than not across the Rockies, the West Coast, and also in the Southeast. Now, I have 2 very important announcements to share with you. The first is that I'm going to be on vacation for the next 7 days. This is my only vacation of the year that I am taking, and I have not had a proper break in a long while now, so I will be away for the next 7 days. However, I am planning on still having a video every single day as long as my cruise ship's internet connection is reliable. I will be on a cruise, and the Wi-Fi can be very inconsistent, so I'm not entirely sure what the situation will be. I will keep all of you updated here on YouTube. And of course, if we have a video tomorrow, you will know that my connection is stable and I am able to upload videos. That is the hope as of right now. The other important announcement is that this is one of the last days to take advantage of the Black Friday sale on ShopMaxvelocity.net, which is the first link in the description below. If you use the code BLACKFRIDAY, you will get $5 off an order of $50 or more. We have our new cheese curd collection, which is named after my cat, available at our store right now. We also have our Supercell collection, Happy Holidays merchandise, and a variety of other items. Again, as a reminder, if you want anything delivered before Christmas, I would advise you to order it within the next week or 2. That way it can be delivered on time. Thank you all so much for watching. Again, we will be back in the studio in about a week, but in the meantime, we will likely still have videos every single day just from a remote location. So thank you for watching, and we will see you all again in the next video.